When you're looking for a solicitor to deal with your case, you don't just look for any solicitor, you look for the right solicitor. An expert who knows what he's doing can deal with your case the right way, achieving the best results. OBASEKI Solicitors has more than 100 years of specialist experience serving the local community in immigration law, property law, human rights legislation, civil and criminal litigation, family law, employment law, Sharia law, business law, maritime and commercial law, providing professional legal services globally in Africa, Asia and Europe. Be assured we'll be able to deal with your case the absolute right way with results. So, contact us today by phone on 020-7739-7549 or go online at www.legalpal.com.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight on your lovely program, Truth and Justice with Dr. Jennifer OBASEKI. How are you today, Doctor?
I'm fine, thank you. Pleasure to be here this evening.
Good to have you on live again. A big thank you to all who got in touch with us after the last week's episode. Thank you so much for being part of what we do. Well, we're here to serve you, isn't it?
Yes, we want to hear more about your cases, your issues, and we'd love to stay basically as relevant as you need us to be. We want to make sure that we're servicing you.
Are we? That's serious. We want to make sure we're servicing you.
Exactly.
Interesting, Dr. Jennifer. Well, we're not home alone tonight. You want to be serviced by Dr. Jennifer, get in touch with us. Email, like our page, give us a call, you know. Check us out on Facebook. You'll be serviced.
Yeah. Truth and Justice TV. We have our website now, so just keep watching. Look out for what guests we're having on board. And we have a very special lady for you today.
Yes, I was gonna introduce and get her, to say hello to our fans out there. We've got this lovely Ebony in the house with us tonight. She's a medical doctor, CEO of many companies, founders of many charities. She will tell us who she is and what she is into. Good evening, I call her Dr. Chichi. Good evening, Doctor.
Thank you so much for having me on the
Great
show.
having you on our show tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Jenny.
I'm so happy you're here today.
I am excited. I don't want to shout, but I'm really excited to be on the show. Thank you so much.
Good to have you.
Pleasure.
So who is Dr. Chichi Mekanya?
Okay, I don't know. What word will I use to describe myself? I'm just me. I'm just Chichi.
So who is Chichi?
So, background-wise, I'm a trauma and orthopedic surgeon, right? But then my main passion is not just medicine. My really big passion is about women equality, gender-based violence, and women empowerment.
Yes.
Wow, look at that.
Then there's something else I really like, which everyone always notices. I love designing clothes.
So why medicine? Why are you a surgeon?
Because everyone says why surgery, and I always say why not surgery. Surgery is an amazing specialty that changes all the time, and that's one of the things I really love about it. It's all about giving and making things better. So as a trauma surgeon, I'll say to you, on orthopedic surgeon, it's all about reconstructing or doing something new. So example, I like things about, like, I used to play a lot with Lego when I was a child, right? Because it was rebuilding. So for me, being a surgeon means I get the chance to build every day or rebuild things or recreate things. So someone comes to you with like a painful knee, you give them a new knee, you give them a new lease of life. And that actually also translates to everything I do. So when it comes to women empowerment, it's about rebuilding, saying to people, okay, you survived this grave crime, how do you rebuild? That's it. And what else do I do? There's one more thing. I actually also run a luxury healthcare concierge, and what that does is actually make sure that international patients that come to the UK, to the US, anywhere they're seeking international health, will get the best care that they deserve. Because for me, it's all about making sure that you're the best in everything you do, and that's why we started this also.
Wow. So the healthcare lottery program, explain that to our guests more. Many people that come to the UK to seek medical treatment often get the right visa. When they come in, sometimes their condition deteriorates. Maybe they have to spend more money on their healthcare provision than they budgeted for, and they can fall into problems. But tell us about this scheme.
So what we did was, how we started it was saying to people, you want to come and seek health in the UK, like you said about people coming here and there, all those hidden fees that they never knew about. What we we do is try and let you know what your pathway could be and give you options so that you plan. Because you know how embarrassing it is when you come in and you can't afford it anymore. So we say to our clients, don't actually leave your home country if you're not sure this is something you want to take on. And although we're trying to bring people to get best care abroad, we also work with some home countries. Like I'm originally from Nigeria, and I work with some hospitals in Nigeria. And so sometimes I say to my clients, there's a hospital in Nigeria that can provide this care for you. You're in the right environment, you're with the right family, you're where you're used to. Is it better sometimes to sit home and get that same help? And with the advent of like things like telemedicine and actually telephone and Skype consultation with a lot of the top hospitals in the UK, you don't actually need to pop onto a plane to come anywhere.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have your diagnosis in Nigeria or in any other country, but you're not sure, you want to have some additional help with the prognosis, that can be done through Skype, through, you know, the digital age that we have now. It may not mean that you should travel out and pay those high fees. So think about your options. If you're in doubt, maybe this scheme is something you can apply for to have your prognosis planned in conjunction with the doctors in your home country. These options are very important to discuss because you might not have even thought about that. I hadn't even thought about that.
Seriously,
and I actually have clients that apply, you know, for medical visas through me. So that's very, very important. Thank you for that information. But can I ask, acquiring this position that you have as an orthopedic surgeon is fantastic, but do tell us about some of the obstacles that you may have faced on the way. There are many young black women and other, even Caucasian women that are out there who think, I want to get there, but may have challenges, social challenges. Please tell us some of the challenges and how you overcame them.
So I'm going to say to you, it wasn't like really like so easy to do, right? But it's all about one, believing in who you are and remembering what your goals are. So for me, I grew up with my mom saying to me every single day, you can be anything you want to be. So that is one thing that I'll say to people that want to take this path. Your foundation has to be right, and even if your foundation is not right, maybe you felt, oh, I'm not good enough, but then you need to then say, today I've heard this voice that says my foundation has to be right, so let me create my foundation from today. So you've got to be positive and say to yourself, this is where I want to be and how do I get there. And I always say, for me, success and failure is the same thing. It doesn't make any difference to me. So when I fail, I will cry for like a few seconds, but then I say to myself, pick up yourself immediately. How do you reevaluate what you're doing and
learn from that?
So I've had a lot of
every fall.
I've had a lot of no's.
Learn from every fall, learn from every no, learn from every knockback, and rise up and overcome.
So sometimes, so I'll say to you, and when you go to an interview for perhaps one, you're a girl, that's one thing, and everyone thinks like orthopedics is so like more like so carpentry sometimes, right? And then two, you're also African, and we have to be honest to ourselves, we stand out from the crowd, right? Yes. And although the world thinks people are going to be biased towards you, that's not true. You walk in and everyone's saying to you, are you sure she can do that? Or like, you know, and it's like really scary. And for me, I went to school in Nigeria, so it's even worse. So people are like, you're not really sure where her degree is from. You know, people are watching you every single time. The truth is that you have to know who you are. And if you believe in who you are, then no matter what obstacles people bring to you, you can overcome them. So what I did was, they said to me, oh, you need to have you've got to have 2 publications. I went out and got 10.
Wow.
Because that's what I need to do.
Do you know what it means to have a paper published? And many of you may sit down and write articles, but to have a paper published on this level is actually very serious. Most academics tend to have to publish, I think, is it 4 every so many years, and you went out and did 10? And I got more. Not 10 is like a hypothetical number. So what I would say to people is find what the rules are that you need to overcome, and then what you then need to do is work on those rules in such a way that you actually surpass it in every way that you have to. And then something else that worked for me in interviews is I went and I practiced and I practiced and I practiced and I told my own story. You could read books that will guide you towards it, but you've got to tell your own story. You've got to stand out. And sometimes when you're like really nervous, I'll get a mirror and I'll sit in front of that mirror and I'll practice to myself. And I'll say these things, like I look at words, I look at different things. And then about also getting the right mentor is very important. If you have a mentor, someone that you look up to, who's done that path, that way they show you their footsteps towards getting where you need to be. And then the other thing I'll also say is when you fail, you will sit down, you'll cry, take some time and do that, but stand up immediately and keep going. Then when you succeed also, don't sit down celebrating because you're at the finish line. Everyone else behind you will come run past you. So you can celebrate a little bit and say, what's my next point?
Isn't it? Move on.
And that's for me, that's how it works.
So on that point, What is next for Dr. Chichi? Tell us what's next.
What's next for
What-
me?
What,
Oh,
do
I
you
don't
have
know.
planned? What's on the horizon?
So one, I need to finish my training because I've got a few more years to do, and I really want to be a hip and trauma surgeon. But more importantly, I want to give back to Africa. I'm Nigerian, and no matter what anyone says to me, I'm
Preach.
Nigerian first
I
before
like
everything
that.
else.
Thank you.
Nigeria.
And I say to myself,
Proper.
#proud Nigerian any day.
Thank you.
So for me, doing trauma, I got inspiration taking trauma as a career because I grew up with loads of RTAs, bad roads, and different things, and a lot of like not seeing enough medical help. We have a lot of knowledge in Nigeria, but it's the equipment, it's the services that is available. So for me, my long-term goal is to obviously be an orthopedic surgeon, and at the same time build like a big trauma center in Africa where people can come to as a central hub. And it doesn't have to be like a big space. It's about doing a network of people, because collaboration and working with people is the only way we're going to get forward.
Absolutely.
You know? And that's why I
Preach.
really want to do full big time. And then
Okay, you were going to ask her another question, but before then, do you provide mentoring program for young Nigerians,
In the medical field.
anyone who wants to become a medical doctor?
So
actually,
to
do
be
you
completely
mentor?
honest with you, I've only done one mentoring scheme when it comes to medicine as a career,
Yeah.
right? And that was there's a church somewhere in Basel when I used to work there. They invited me to come and speak to people, and it was actually through another girl who said to me, "Come and speak to young people." And what I've done is shared my number with them. The people I've actually mentored more are people that have interest in women empowerment and building businesses. And that's what our charity does, is actually motivate survivors, right? Because we don't believe in victim mentality. We believe that you survived this great crime, how do you get to the next level? And for that's what I do mentorship on. But for medicine, I haven't really done a lot apart from that one program.
Okay.
And that's something I should think about.
You
right?
should think about
Yeah,
it.
definitely. A mentoring scheme
You
is
should
on the
think about
horizon.
that. Yeah.
That's the next thing I should be thinking about.
Seriously, we should
now.
think
Yes,
about that.
that
We should
makes
think
sense.
about that.
You've spoken about making sure survivors have a level of economic empowerment, economic independence, because it's so important to not just give a woman a level of security, but it's important to give her a level of income.
Absolutely.
And if you tell us the name of your NGO so that people can know how to support you.
So it's called OPMAS scheme, and OP is for my mother's name. My mother is Mrs. Anne Okuchukwu Menakaya, and Okuchukwu means the word of God, right? And what we talked about calling OP was the word. Then I said, what else is it that has impacted on me, that's made me take this step, is that I had loads of friends who looked beautiful, dressed really well. We love fashion, right? And then one day you sit down and they completely melt down, and you didn't even notice they were living in violence. It doesn't have to be physical violence, it could be
emotional
psychological.
abuse.
And so we said there's a mask everyone walks around with. So we wanted to get the word out of the mask to make a difference. So what we do in the UK is go to refugees, right? So we work with Histia Women's Aid, and we support the refugees by doing motivational events and actually giving motivational packs to rebuild. But then in Nigeria, which is the main country we work in Africa, we don't work anywhere else at the moment but Nigeria. We hope to expand. We starting businesses for grassroots women, because when we started doing this work, there were women like me, there were doctors, there were lawyers, there were really educated women who had financial freedom but lived in this crime. And for us, we said, what would happen to this market woman who has nowhere to go to? And so what we've done is what's called the First Day Woman Award. And what that does is between February every year and April, we get local NGOs to actually find women that they can mentor, that have businesses that make sense, that we can get to the next level. And that's how we started doing the fashion thing. A lot of the women were doing clothes and different things. So I said, okay, I've always loved design, and I've always designed since I was 12. So I'll draw the sketches and they'll do it, and I'll bring it to the UK and I'll raise money and take it back so that they do more. And that's how we've just basically started recycling it.
So it's got a fair trade element, it's got a vocational element, it's got an empowerment element. Please, if you want to support Dr. Chichi, please give us the name of the charity.
So it's
again.
called OPMAS scheme, and it's just www.opmasscheme.com, or you go on, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and then the fashion line is called OP for Centric, so you can buy stuff, and remember your money is going to the right place, plus it's going to be really trendy at the same time.
That's brilliant. You did mention something about you dealing with equality and diversity, and you want to tell us more about that?
So we in policy and advice, they do a lot of that with medicine as a career. So what we do is that we've got a lot of groups that we've all formed about making sure that people get equal rights. And again, when the campaign was going on in Nigeria about making sure that women, the thing about childhood marriage and different things, we worked with a senator called Obajimi Olujimi, and we tried to get the bill passed in Nigeria to make sure women had better rights in terms of they weren't getting married at 13.
No
and
forced
different
marriage.
things.
The actual age for marriage in Nigeria is 14.
It's 14.
The legal age. So whenever you see a woman or a girl child being forced into marriage, please make sure that you report to the right authorities. We don't need to condone child abuse in our country and anywhere else in the world. Wherever you see forced child marriage, please do the right thing, report.
And we're hoping. Obviously, the bill fell through and didn't work like everyone knows, and it's gone so many times. So what we hope to do eventually in the future is try and lead more advocacy campaigns to countries. Because I keep saying to people, there are over 603 women that live in countries where domestic violence is not even a crime. 603 million.
Wow.
That is a lot of people.
Absolutely.
And then it's time we all say, let's get it together. Let's make women's rights like human rights. That's what I always say. This is what it should be. Let's get rules that help, because everyone hides behind, oh, it's a culture. There's no culture anywhere that says this thing's right.
So can we just talk a little bit about the inequality? What advice would you give to anybody who feels that there's, or finds out even, that there's a pay inequality or even a treatment inequality within their role or their scope? That they're performing in?
I think the first thing to do is like highlight it to the next person in authority and say to them, this is what's going on. This I think this is wrong. Because if you sit down and say, I'm not going to say anything, hush hush, we're all going to be quiet, it's never going to change. Then if that doesn't happen, escalate it to the next person. And although you might feel isolated, you might feel like you're just on your own, but remember, it's only one person that leads the movement. You don't have to have like a crowd of people to move, because if everyone said hush hush, I'm not going to make any difference, then it's never going to change. And I'm sure there are lots of associations that you can reach out to for help, for extra support, that will come and help you get to the next step. Don't die in silence.
Not at all.
You know, you've got to like get a force of people behind to keep it going.
Yes. So as you well know, there is legislation in place to protect your rights. You should never be receiving less pay than your colleague on the same scale. You should never be having unequal treatment. If you're a parent, you should be able to negotiate a little bit of flexible time. And there's other provisions if you're, again, feeling that you're being treated wrongly because of your gender, your race, whether due to any disability. And disability is has a wide definition. So if you're feeling that you're being treated unfairly, please seek advice. You can email in to us. You can email in to esther@OBASEKISolicitors.com, and we'll be able to help you because we have employment specialists on board.
And don't forget, we offer free
consultation
on Fridays.
Fridays the free clinic, so always drop in. We'll be able to have a one-on-one conversation with you, let you know your rights and your pathway, if possible, to making a claim or negotiating a resolution to the problem. Most employers don't want to go to employment tribunal. Most employers want to resolve the issue, and often if there's bad managers in place that have not rectified or highlighted things, then it won't be resolved. But once it is exposed, most of the time they love to settle, especially if it's a big employer. So come and get the help. Remember what Dr. Chichi said, and what we always say, don't stay quiet, let us help you.
Okay. You mentioned something about backstage. You told us about this charity you run, trauma and orthopedic surgery, and you want to tell us about that?
Okay, so my trauma and orthopedic surgery is my regular job. So that's my 8 to 5 job, I guess I'll say that.
Okay.
But it is an amazing 8 to 5 job because it gives back, as I said to you, because trauma patients come in, we help them out, people come from different things, and that's what I started as my own career, right? And that's what pays money, pays my bills. Once it gives me a lot of job satisfaction, and more importantly, it gives me all the skills I need to actually use for other things that I do. So that's like. And for me, for trauma and orthopedics, why did I choose to do this? As I said to you, growing up in Nigeria, the RTAs, the number of trauma cases, it was just like an amazing place when you see someone coming with like 1 million broken bones and someone puts them all together and they walk away. It's like magic, right? You know, for me, it's like so magical.
So would you give any specific advice to anybody who's transitioning from Nigeria or from any other country that's wanting to study, that studied medicine abroad, that's transitioning to the UK? What key viewpoints would you give?
So first of all, I'm going to say to you, everyone's going to tell you it's hard, but it's only hard if you make it hard, right? There's nothing that is not hard. Like I always say, if I wake up in the morning, life is hard as it is. So is it that I decide it's not going to be hard for me, or it's not?
Your mindset.
Your mindset is the first thing. Surround yourself with people that have a lot of positive energy, people that go in places, and not people that have all these negativities all around them. get your facts right. You've got to do your exam. So doing PLAB 1, PLAB 2 is a must. You must do that. And I think over now you've got to do another clinical skills course. Do that if that's what you need to do. You need to find clinical attachments. Do not listen to people that say to you, you've got to pay for clinical attachments. There are going to be hospitals, if you don't have the financial freedom, who will actually give you an attachment without money. Some of them will make you pay, but then I'll say to you, if you have to travel to Glasgow or whatever, somewhere far to get it done, just get it done, right? And then what else I'll say to people, although everyone's financial state is different, don't start a dead-end job that you're going to think, now I can pay my bills, so I'll keep trying. I wouldn't do PLAB. You're a doctor. You're not supposed to be in Tesco's or somewhere else. That doesn't mean that Tesco is not good. Tesco is an amazing place. Without Tesco's, we wouldn't eat. Yeah, but set your goals in time, right? Like I'll say to someone that works in Tesco, be the best in your career. Be the best person you want to be.
Don't settle for less.
Don't settle for less. This is what you've studied for 6 years, 7 years. Have a career plan. Say to myself, I'm going to make money from here to put it in this place. Stay focused. Don't lose focus. And again, I always say to people, surround yourself with positive people. For me, my mom said to me every single day, listen, you're here to be a doctor, so concentrate on being a doctor. Do it, and those words help me.
We say to you, your network is your network. Please, the birds of a feather that flock together. It's true. Surround yourself with people that you aspire to be like, or are being, in the same pathway and on the same plan as you. One of the things that Dr. Chichi has said is, don't settle for less, and often we do that, and it's quite a big mistake. So always set your achievements, always look for the next goal. Don't just sit down and think, okay, paying the rent now, that's enough. And remember, nurses, doctors, you're a profession that's short in supply in the UK.
Seriously.
So if you really, really aim for it, you can get it. So we're doing this program to make sure we encourage you. We're going to be talking more about employment law and your rights. But again, for those of you who are thinking of seeking employment in the UK from abroad, yes, go for it. Look at those professions that are short in supply. You can get that on the Home Office website. Many of the NHS trusts are actually looking for doctors, nurses and specialists. And if you need help with the visa application process, please contact us. We will be able to help you. It's something that we do on a daily basis. So we'll be able to talk you through that process.
So there was something else I was going to add to people coming. Also, make sure if you decide that you want to do locum, right, make sure you shop around. Don't agree with agencies that are going to pay you peanuts. Yeah, it doesn't make sense because people will take advantage of you. They'll pay you peanuts. They'll take your commission, and then you do all the work. So ask around, speak to a few people, call people, and say to them, how much is this going to be? What's the going rate? So that you don't end up being paid less than you need to be paid. It is your knowledge. It is your license on that place. You've got to claim it, right? And that's what I'm going to say. Good luck. Also,
yes,
because you need a lot of that. You need a lot of patience. You need a lot of determination. But you can make it. Honestly, if I could make it, anyone else can make it.
I used to say that too.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chichi.
Thank you so
Menakaya, we are so grateful that you're able to make it today.
I'm so grateful to be here.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining in. I'd love to hear more from you. Those of you that are abroad, that will have more questions, that want to gain employment in the UK, talk to us. We'll be able to help you with your visa applications, talk you through the best way to plot and plan your way to get employment in the UK. Next week, hopefully, we're going to be raising topics on import and export. We're also going to be talking about property on the weeks coming in. So for those questions, fire at us. Let us know the questions you have around property law. Let us know the questions you have on import and exporting your goods. Remember that Brexit is here. It's in March, but it's here. Keep saying to people, it's here. So what's going to happen? Have you started to change your policies and procedures so that you're Brexit proof? I've said whether it's hard Brexit or soft Brexit, you've got to make it. So you've got to make sure you Brexit proof your business. So we'll just be talking about that and the do's and the don'ts of importing and exporting into the UK. And we have a very special guest on that occasion. I'm not going to tell you who he is, but he's an international exporter and importer into the UK of a very famous brand. So he's going to grace us as well. So with your employment questions, remember what Esther has said. Feel free to come to our surgery on a Friday. If you've got discrimination issues you want to discuss, if you've got compromise agreements that you've been presented with and you're not sure what to do, definitely your employer should be paying for you to have legal advice if there's a compromise agreement in place. Many people don't realise that.
And if they've been unfairly dismissed.
If you've been unfairly dismissed,
Get
then
in touch with us.
get in touch with us. If it's within the 2 years and you're not sure what to do, come and see us. Normally after 2 years is when you can actually go to the employment tribunal, but there are some specific situations where that can be overridden. And then one of the sad situations is if you are suffering from home office delay and you've lost your job.
Yeah.
It actually then falls into the remit of employment law.
Exactly.
So again, if you've been dismissed, despite the fact that you have the right to work and the delay is not your fault, it's the Home Office's fault, and it's not that you've actually been refused, then it actually falls into the employment arena. And you can come and speak to us as to how you can get resolution on that situation.
So don't self-medicate.
Don't self-medicate, don't DIY. Don't DIY
Let's
your
help
issues.
you. Let's help you. And it's rather late than never for those who think, I still love to go to school. I still want to study. But I'm old now.
Exactly.
I've got kids. It's rather late
We
than
do
never.
this. We hope that we've inspired you today with
Go
Dr.
for your
Chichi's
goals.
story.
Mm.
Go for those dreams. It's never too late.
Never too
You know,
late.
so far as you have that desire to pick up your book, acquire knowledge and information, and that passion, then definitely it's never too late.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chichi.
Thanks again.
We really, really do hope to have you back on the live
again.
show
Oh,
very,
please.
very, very, very soon. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you
guys.
so
We hope
much.
to see you soon. Be the best you can. Go for your goals. Don't say never.
Never say never, and always be good. And if you can't be good, be careful.
Be careful.
Stay blessed.
We'll see you later.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
When you're looking for a solicitor to deal with your case, you don't just look for any solicitor, you look for the right solicitor. An expert who knows what he's doing can deal with your case the right way, achieving the best results. OBASEKI Solicitors has more than 100 years of specialist experience serving the local community in immigration law, property law, human rights legislation, civil and criminal litigation, family law, employment law, Sharia law, business law, maritime and commercial law, providing professional legal services globally in Africa, Asia and Europe. Be assured we'll be able to deal with your case the absolute right way with results. So, contact us today by phone on 020 7739 7549 or go online at www.legalpal.com.